Hiya, homies. We are getting this party started a little early. Gonna wait until some people show up in the chat because we are talking tonight about stress-relieving cartoons. That's right. Stress-reducing cartoons. Just cartoons that help reduce stress as you watch them. This could be applied to many different kinds of cartoons. Oh, we are having a Facebook issue. Okay. Trouble streaming to Facebook. Let's see. Edit. It's still there. I don't know what's going on with Facebook. Facebook, get your act together, dude. We have a love-hate relationship with Facebook because they're always having technical difficulties, but we love the homies that are hanging out over there. Don't we, buddy? Yep, Jiggy and I are always on the Facebook page, hanging out whenever possible. Hopefully, John Ellis and co over there can see the stream over here on YouTube, and we can get this party rolling. It is early. We are like 12 minutes early, so it could be that people just don't realize that we're live. That's totally fine. But we are also only about a minute in, so we're going to give it a little time here. Hopefully, some people show up. Until then, let's see. Gonna go ahead and start the conversation. It might just be you and me, the rewatch crew, and myself. Do you got tunes? We have tunes. We have loads of options. I'd like to think of the cartoon choices that we have not so much as choices, but more like options. You have the options to pick whatever cartoon you want, and tonight we are talking stress-relieving cartoons. And what prompted this conversation is the video that we published today. That would be When the Nightmare is Real, an Alvin and the Chipmunks video. And that is available now on Cartoon Commotion, www.cartooncommotion.com, or here on YouTube. Check it out if you get the chance. Search When the Nightmare is Real, or at least, what is it? Yep, When the Nightmare is Real. And we do have a link for that in the live chat. If you're here in the live chat, which I do see some people are joining us, go ahead and leave a comment. Jump on in whenever you get the chance, and we will go ahead and discuss. So I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear, what would you consider to be a stress-relieving cartoon, like for you personally, like when you're needing a break from reality. Yeah, that's for sure, Jiggy. Muppet Babies would definitely be an option. Comedy cartoons are usually what people choose to help them stress. Looney Tunes, Animaniacs, maybe Earthworm Jim or Cow and Chicken, stuff like that. Stuff like Johnny Bravo, where you just sort of zone out and veg out and just chillax. Some examples, though, of stressless cartoons, like what you just mentioned, Jiggy, Muppet Babies or Pound Puppies. I did ask my homies over on Facebook, which we can't access right now. I did ask them over on Facebook, which of these three cartoons should I analyze for them on Facebook? I gave them Doug, Muppet Babies, and Rugrats, just because Jiggy and I haven't covered any of those tunes yet. You know what? Before we continue, I'm going to switch the track because I'm getting kind of sick of it. It always gets louder before it switches here. There we go. Right on. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm digging this one. All right, so I asked them which of these three, Doug, Muppet Babies, or Rugrats, just because Jiggy and I haven't covered any of those tunes yet. And Muppet Babies got 3 votes, Doug got 2, and Rugrats, I think, also got 2. So which of these 3 should we analyze next? Doug, Muppet Babies, or Rugrats? Like, say we're voting here right now. Which of those 3 do you think Cartoon Commotion needs to have a video on? Or even a shorter video? We could do it. We could do a shorter video. Like, not a short video, but like a shorter video. If you know what I mean. It is strange. I think a lot of people consider Rugrats as a therapeutic way to reconnect to more carefree days. But, that series was almost a horrifying look at how growing up is from the perspective of like infants that haven't had the life experience to understand the world that they were born into just yet. It's sort of like a whole different show when you see it that way. It really opens up the mind to a different point of view. But we might eventually cover that here on Cartoon Commotion. But for now, we're going to stick with comfort cartoons that are stress absorbing right here. I mean, in this stream. Maybe Rugrats wouldn't be my personal choice for that, but it could be yours. What cartoons from the 80s or 90s would you choose to do this for you, to be stress relief? That is an excellent question, and the comment section is open. OddPod suggests that we analyze Doug. Doug is okay. So Doug is in the lead, I think. Let's see. No, it's tied with Muppet Babies. So far, Doug is tied with Muppet Babies, both at 3 votes. So we need some tiebreakers. Anybody else want Doug or Muppet Babies or Rugrats? The votes are open. Thanks for joining us, by the way, OddPod. Feel free to chime in. And if you want, we could get you on the stream even, and we could talk cartoons. You want to get on here? Let me know. Is there any particular cartoon that when you think back to it, you could say instantly takes you to a time of being more carefree and stressless? Now, I'm not saying that you'd be totally stress-free. I'm sure that we've all had stress at just about every area of our life. Like, we're not totally stressless all the time, but like more carefree and more stressless. That's a really good question. And that's what we're here to talk about tonight. OddPod says, Doug has always been a chilled show to me about growing up and learning to deal with different situations. I'm at work right now, so I can't, but I will sometime. Okay. All right. We are going to have these hangout streams like once a month, so hopefully next time. That would be great. But yeah, feel free to chime in between, the boss peering over your shoulder to make sure you're still on the grind. Whenever you can, jump on in here, man. Okay, so we don't have any more comments just yet. For me, let's talk about what I think is sort of a de-stressing cartoon, or the type I choose. For me, I prefer serialized adventure shows. A cartoon that features adventure and peril with a side of a dash of comedy and jam-packed with moral stories, because they help me get out of my own head and get invested into a character's world. Pure comedies are great to get into the zone of a carefree attitude, but when I need an escape, when I need my mind to zone out and zone in on something else besides my own worries, I dig into an adventure series. Before I continue, Sherry Edgen is here. Hiya, Sherry. Hey, Cartoon Commotion. Are we going to see Jiggy? He's on the screen right now. Look at him. Hey, Jiggy. What's going on, dude? Jiggy? You paying attention here, buddy? Yes, he is. And he's here to weigh in on comfort cartoons, chillaxing cartoons, or as OddPod was saying, a chilled show about growing up and learning to deal with different situations. Cartoons that take you back to a stress-free, carefree time. And I was just saying, I like serialized adventure shows. A cartoon that features adventure and peril, a little bit of comedy with moral stories, something to get me out of my own head and into the zone of another character's world. Gem and the Holograms, we just had an episode on that series last week, by the way. Soft plugging that video, dudes. What else? There's Thundercats, 80s TMNT. We had some comments on our YouTube posts about cartoons that are, stress-free and carefree. And we had some people say He-Man and TMNT. I think that was Saturday Morning Collectibles said TMNT. So shout out to Saturday Morning Collectibles if you're here. Thanks for being here, man. Sherry Edgen says, me too. I'm right there with ya. Awesome. And Hoarders Hide says, hi all. How you doing, Hoarders? Glad to have you here. We're talking about carefree, stress-free, stress-relieving cartoons. And I just mentioned Gem and the Holograms and how we had an episode just last week. It was just this past Saturday. Remember when Gem won because she lost. Now, Denver the Last Dinosaur is kind of like the very definition of chill. We had an episode, a live episode. It's much earlier on, back in our early days of Cartoon Commotion rebooting. We had a live episode with Spencer Bollettieri. He joined us for that episode, and we were talking about how Denver is basically the chillest 80s cartoon I know. I mean, it had 80s rock and roll, surfer dude voices, and dinosaur stuff. It's like a time capsule, and it never does anything too intense. I think the most intense moments are usually about fitting in, or they one time had to recover a VHS tape of Car Thieves that they recorded. That was a cool episode. Okay, Oddpod says, weirdly, Animaniacs makes me think of stress-free times. That is weirdly awesome, man. That is weirdly awesome. It's always happy and silly and just cheers me up and relaxes me with its chaotic ways. Dude, no, that's awesome. And Sherry Edgen says, that's so true, Oddpod. Animaniacs is an excellent choice, dude. Animaniacs is a comedy cartoon. It's designed to just take all that stress away and just get you into an environment of comedy. The reason I bring up my personal, preference with, carefree cartoons, my choice is to find a cartoon where they're on adventures and their stories take my stress away. I can just zone in on their stories. So that's my direction, and the reason I bring up these cartoons in particular, because I do recognize the value of a good comedy cartoon. Oh man, Jiggy, I think we need a beat to slide into this next part. Right on, dude. That's awesome. All right, let's see. That's a good one. Bring it down a little. All right, so like I was saying, Denver the Last Dinosaur was just a chill cartoon. There was one plot that involved Denver possibly getting experimented on that was in the pilot, I think. And there was another where they faked a lake monster to help Denver, to keep Denver a secret. But otherwise, it's really chill. It's so chill it can serve you up a Frosty Freeze. That was Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures reference for anybody who didn't catch it, Frosty Freeze. And totally should have, dude. It'd be heinous if you didn't catch that series, too. I mean, I wouldn't say that cartoon is not stress relieving, but it wasn't the first cartoon to come to mind when needing to zone out into another dimension, dudes. I'm talking like them now. Still an excellent series, at least the first season. The second season, no. You know, actually, I'd say that the material, even though the material is a different theme, that the vibe of Denver is similar to Pound Puppies. This is kind of bringing it back to more chill cartoon. Pound Puppies' humor made that show for me. Whopper and Howler had fun personalities, I thought. Their running gags were sort of ridiculous, but Whopper's shtick or gimmick, personality trait, whatever you want to call it, his thing was my personal favorite of the two of them, of the Whopper and Howler. He was ultra imaginative. He was telling tall tales and even playing pretend. He reminded me of when I was a kid, making up stories, pretending to be superheroes and stuff like that. And then Cooler, I think his name was Cooler, he was voiced by Dan Gilvezan. You know, Bumblebee or Spider-Man. He had some great wit in that series. It was hysterical, his lines, like between the corny laughter. Oh, we got some more comments. Sherry Edgen says, go, Jiggy, go! Nice work, buddy. Nice work. He says, thank you very much. Porter's Hide says, classic Looney Tunes is my go-to, but Flintstones never let me down. Right on. Right on. Both excellent comedy choices. Jerry Edge says, loved Pound Puppies. Oddpod says, if I had to choose one to zone out and enjoy stories, it would be the real Ghostbusters. Yes! Yes, dude. Totally agree. That background music was so good, and each story was always a fun time. Such a great cartoon. Right on. Callie says, hey, is it letting me in now? Yeah, we are live. John Ellis, welcome. The king of the cartoon commotion comment section is here. He says, how did you? Doing pretty good. Jerry Edge says, yes, you are here, Callie. Right on. We are talking about stress relieving, de-stressing cartoons for when you just need an escape. Yes, Jiggy, we are always talking about therapeutic cartoons. In fact, I gotta plug this again, guys. We had an episode, a bonus video out earlier today about Alvin and the Chipmunks that's titled When the Nightmare is Real. And if you'd like that is a freebie, an example of what we have to offer on our service called Cartoon Connection, which can all be found at www.giveacookie.net. And that is running at a ticker at the bottom of the screen. So if you need some more information on that while we are chatting about therapeutic cartoons like Muppet Babies, Pound Puppies, and Denver the Last Dinosaur. There are also some other cartoons that we have yet to mention, like Thundercats. That pick always helps me de-stress. De-stress. I gotta print. There's a dash between there. De-stress. Which reminds me, if you say Thundercats and they don't shout back, "Ho!" bail, dude. They ain't good people. So I'm just saying. I have sincerely, personally taken my troubles to Third Earth on a time or two before. When I just need a break from my reality, it is awesome. And much like the 80s action mainstays of TMNT or Transformers, it never gets old, dudes. Even rewatching the earlier adventures where Lion-O grows up way too fast and Snarf can somehow escape from a spider's web by, quote, digging deep. Yeah, this show feels like it takes danger seriously, but it also still has fun with everything, never taking itself too seriously. That, it isn't fun to see what happens. It's a lot easier for me to focus, to not focus. I'm sorry, I'm getting jumbled up here. I'm seeing a lot of comments come in. Let's check these out first. Okay, Callie Hawkins says, cartoons are so much fun and usually relaxing. Yes, it really does depend on the choice. There are some, I think, that are more relaxing than others. And that's pretty much what we're doing here. We're talking about the cartoons that we personally find just totally, they absorb our stress. Let's see. There's a lot here. John Ellis says, Thundercats Part 1 of the Rankin Bass 1980s Animal Heroes Untrilogy. Right on, dude. Is that a choice for you, like for when you need a cartoon to just de-stress? Because we are talking about cartoons that de-stress us from the 80s and 90s. John Ellis also says, an old favorite of mine is Gargoyles, the Weisman episodes, not the Goliath Chronicles. Right on. Great choice. Oddpod says, I love Thundercats. Watched my VHS tapes of it a lot as a kid. I really want to collect the Thundercats episodes on VHS. Oh, John Ellis was referring to Thundercats with the... Yeah, man, I know. Oh, okay. No, you meant that would be the pick for you for de-stressing. Great choice. I was literally just talking about that. And Callie says, Dragon Tales would be a personal choice of hers for de-stressing. I can relate to that partially. I understand. That is a very chill cartoon. I think that was a PBS cartoon. I think so. Oddpod says, another one I think a stress-free one for me was Duckula, great British cartoon. What is with all the duck cartoons, right? I mean, like, I don't hate them or nothing. I actually love duck cartoons, but it's funny how many duck cartoons there were. And I feel like there could be a cartoon commission. I can't even say my own name. Cartoon commotion episode we do on all of the duck cartoons. What do you guys say to that? You know what? Caveat. No, not caveat. Tangent. We gotta bring it back. We are having a vote. Out of the three, which one should we make an episode on? Eventually here. Doug, Rugrats, or Muppet Babies? Doug, Rugrats. I'm reading comments as I'm talking. Doug, Rugrats, or Muppet Babies? 3 options. Which would you prefer us to do an episode on eventually here? Out of the 3. And so far in the lead is a tie between Muppet Babies and Doug. We have another vote for Muppet Babies by Sherry Edgin. John Ellis says, gee, that's tough. I respect this. It's definitely hard. John Ellis also says, Count Duckula, Cosgrove Hall's wittiest show. Dude, I've never seen it. I feel like I'm missing out. I gotta check this. Callie Hawkins also says Muppet Babies. Okay, Muppet Babies is in the lead, guys. Okay, John Ellis says, I'd say Muppet Babies because Disney made it vanish after the 2010s, and I miss it. Oh, dude, yeah. There is a way to check it, though. I started watching episodes on Internet Archive. So if you need a place to check out, Muppet Babies again, Internet Archive. Oddpod says, oh, thought of another chilled show that I loved was a show called Life with Louie. You know, it vaguely rings a bell. I do know the character, and was that a Fox Kids show? I can't remember. Jerry Edgen says, I do remember Life with Louie. Okay, so that's 2 out of 3 people that oh, you need to check out Duckula, says Oddpod. Oddpod, yes, Fox Kids was Life with Louie. Love Fox Kids, man. Fox Kids has some awesome cartoons. It had such a nice balance of action and comedy shows. Okay, so as I was saying, do you guys have any series like that? Like any sort of serialized storyline that you like to follow? I know John Ellis said that his favorite choice out of those that I mentioned was Thundercats. Excellent choice. I think a great cross between the vibe of a serialized cartoon and a comedy cartoon is Goof Troop. Anybody remember Goof Troop? That was the show before the first Goofy movie. And we won't even acknowledge that there may or may not have been a follow-up to that. Okay, we're not even going to touch that. That first series is majorly underrated, and the movie is essentially a finale to that series. Anybody remember Goof Troop? Because I've seen the majority of Goof Troop, and I feel like I'm one of the few people in the world that have. Nobody talks about Goof Troop anymore. Mr. B-Man says, Thundercats, and I've got to follow up with, oh, because otherwise I'm just not good people. Legion of Comics says, what's up, brother? Mark, how you doing, man? We are talking about stress-free, de-stressing cartoons tonight. Talking about things like Thundercats, Muppet Babies, Pound Puppies, Denver the Last Dinosaur, and Gummy Bears. Which I haven't seen much about of Gummy Bears. Would you say that would be a cartoon to de-stress too? Because I feel like it would be. I've not seen much of it, and I do need to dig into that a bit more. The trouble is that my list is massive for cartoon commotion. I tend to zone in on a specific cartoon or set of cartoons for a good period of time so that I can make excellent videos for the homies like you. And eventually I will get around to focusing more on tunes like the Gummy Bears. But it's just, there's a lot on my plate. There's a lot I dig into. And Jiggy too. We got some more. Legion says, no Goof Troop for me, but I do love a Goofy movie. Oh, dude. Goof Troop was like basically the prequel to a Goofy movie, if you go back and watch it. There are ways. I think the majority of the show is on DVD, but there are ways. John Ellis says, Goof Troop was good, though Max Goof raises mysterious questions. Not his mom. Obviously, Goofy is a widower, but why is Max able while Huey, Dewey, and Louie don't? What? I think I'm misreading this, man. But why is Max able when Huey... Could you elaborate? Maybe I'm reading it wrong. Somebody help me. Oddpod says, Gummy Bears bouncing here and there and everywhere. You wanted me to sing that, right? You did. I know you did. I could feel it in the comment. I could feel it. Okay, John Ellis says, Gummy Bears was the blueprint for... You mentioned that on Facebook somewhere, I think. You said Gummy Bears was the blueprint for gargoyles. That is fascinating. John Ellis says, depends on the episode, though. It had slice of life episodes and mythos episode exploring the lore. Okay. Oh, to age in okay, able to age. Okay. Well, that's okay. So that's a little deeper. My thinking is there wasn't exactly a display of time. Like, I've been watching DuckTales. I've been watching a ton of DuckTales lately. We'll get into that in a minute. But that is something to look into. You know, I think that the Disney afternoon is full of mysteries. And it would be worth making multiple videos diving into those mysteries. John Ellis says, reference even... I can't type. Dude, it's fine. Oddpod says, of course you had to sing it. Dude, I just hope that I didn't get that into I just hope that I didn't get that into the ears of your boss. And I was reading this comment. Sherry Edgen says, yeah, are you going to sing it, cartoon? I was singing it. I was. Gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere. There, it's on record. You heard it. John Ellis says, why did they make Schnookums and meat? There's a mystery. Yeah, that is a mystery. But I do think that falls out of the realm of 80s and 90s, and Cartoon Commotion sticks around there, so. Sherry Edgens laughing and rolling. Yes, you're welcome for that solo right there. And I need to cleanse my palate, so I'm going to let Jiggy play again. All right, Jiggy, hit it. John Ellis says that Schnookums and Meat was a 90s show. Really? Because I thought that was early 2000s. Oddpod says, oh, another chilled cartoon, The Raccoons. I loved it. You know, that is another one where I have just never seen it, and everyone I talk to talks up the Raccoons, so it's on the list. John Ellis says 1995. Dude, I apologize. Schnookums and Meat was just way off my radar. Two cartoons that have been off of my radar for like ever. Raccoons and Schnookums and Meat. We're getting into it. Okay, let's see. We're gonna play Pecan. Yeah, that's the name of the. I think that's the name of the musician here. The band is called I Would Like a Pecan Pie. Though I don't know the name of the song. Unless that's the name of the song, in which case either one works. Pecan Pie. Okay, Oddpod says Raccoons is great and that outro song is just perfection. All right. I've got so much on my list, man. I'll get around to it eventually. And I genuinely have a list right here in front of me. John Ellis says, I've seen some episodes on Tubi of the Raccoons, but never the full series. He says that it could be partially lost media, or it seems to be partially lost media. Interesting. I discovered a cartoon that's partially lost media. I've never watched an episode, so I don't know how good it is, but I plan to dig into it. And it's the Pittsburgh Pigs. It was a Fox Kids cartoon. Does anyone know anything about the Pittsburgh Pigs? Because I am very curious about the Pittsburgh Pigs. As well as Jiggy. Jiggy is also very curious about the Pittsburgh Pigs. Sherry says, oh, pecan pie, that's yummy. Squirrel moment, sorry. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. We all get those. Whew. So, moving on, I did not get to mention this other cartoon, Pole Position. I took notes a couple weeks back as I binged this series. A super stunt car series about crime-fighting agents that masquerade as a stunt car show. This, I don't know if I said it, it's 1987, and it's based off of the 1982 video game. All 13 episodes are available free on YouTube. Mondo, excellent series for getting caught up in a world of situations that were not my own. If you want action, but you also don't really want that ongoing narrative where you need to watch the first 3 episodes in order to perfectly understand what's going on in episode 4 or 13, this show is the ticket. All free on YouTube. So if you need a refresher of a good old 80s action cartoon that'll instantly send you back on a vibe ride back to that rad time, this is available for you free right now. Nobody paid me to say that. I also just did a guest spot over on the network's flagship show, Back of the Cereal Box, a part of the Cereal Box Network. And that was where Johnny Beyond and I were chatting about its many underrated qualities. So if you want more Pole Position, check that episode out when you get the chance. We did a little bit of an analysis. Johnny gave a little bit of a review. It was a great time. And I do believe that I linked that on YouTube's on the YouTube's community tab already. But either way, I will be sharing that live stream again on socials eventually. Here. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and all that. Let's see, we got some more comments. John Ellis says, I recall the wolf characters were the most memorable part of the Pittsburgh Pigs. Okay, awesome. I can understand, villains usually are some of the most memorable parts of any series like that. It's a comedy series. It's the way I see it is it's sort of a slice of life, sort of like mashup between slice of life and mystery. It's definitely like a mystery show. John Ellis says, I was convinced I'd hallucinated Pole Position is a real cartoon, and it's actually really good. Like, there's a lot of great, underrated, canceled cartoons out there. 13-episode mini masterpieces that you can go and binge on YouTube for free. This is just one of them. Another one I would say is Inhumanoids and Skeleton Warriors. Both horror kind of cartoons, but still really good. Really, really good. Sherry Edgen says, another one of my favorites. Pole Position? Which one? John Ellis says, cheesy, relaxing 80s fun is Mask. Like G.I. Joe, like G.I. Joe, like Transformers. Why not combine them? Sherry Edgen says she likes Pole Position. Awesome. And that is available for free on YouTube's. It's awesome. Daisy was a standout character to me. She was awesome. And Brody and Wheels. Oh my goodness, they were awesome. Wheels was like the classic car, and there was a lot of moments. There were a lot of family type moments with the family classic car. It was awesome. Actually, I wrote down a whole bunch of stuff I was going to tell you guys about DuckTales, but I don't see it on my list here. That basically, I've been binging DuckTales recently. I got, I think, up to episode 14, and I am loving it. Not that I haven't seen it at all before, I have. It's just looking at it differently. It's always cooler. It's always more rad. You can come back with a whole different perspective, and that's how I get episodes of Cartoon Commotion. I go and I watch the actual cartoon. I take notes with Jiggy here. We watch, we note, we analyze, and we bring it back with a whole different perspective. Daniel Morales. Hopefully I said that right. It's kind of like Miles Morales. It's pretty cool. Hi, love your stuff. I've got a quick question. As a guy whose parents grew up in the 80s, then raised me on everything from the 80s and 90s, are there any shows from that era that aren't talked about? Dude, I have been talking about them all. Welcome to the party. Let's see. Inhumanoids, Skeleton Warriors, Pole Position, the Raccoons, we haven't been talking about enough. Pigsburg Pigs. Dude, stick around for more Cartoon Commotion, because that's what we do on Cartoon Commotion. Besides flipping the script on 80s and 90s cartoons, we also bring a whole bunch of cartoons back from the past and present them in brand new ways. John Ellis says, memory unlocked. My local CBS affiliate usually preempted Pole Position for local programming as it came in dead last on the lineup. That is bogus, especially when you consider that that's a stunt car show and they should be in first place. I'm just saying, if it's a race, and they should be winning. They are driving super stunt cars like it's like Knight Rider, but more family personable, I guess. John Ellis says, so that was why I was half convinced it never existed. That makes a lot of sense, dude. Bro, that makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah, Daniel Morales, I hope you stick around for more Cartoon Commotion, because we're always bringing up cartoons that don't get a lot of attention. Skeleton Warriors and Inhumanoids are just two excellent cartoons that I do not see people talking about. I discovered a cartoon from the 90s, and you probably all, I'm gonna say this, and I hope that there are a few of you that also have no idea what this is. Like, that you've never seen this before. Because I discovered it, and I'm like, this happened? So I was digging into the history of Tiny Toon Adventures for my videos upcoming next month. And I discovered there was a cartoon of The Wizard of Oz. It only had one season, 13 episodes. I found them, and I have not watched them yet, but I am very curious. They seem to have a lot of the same actors as on Tiny Toon Adventures. Oddpod. Okay, wait. First, John Ellis says, yeah, on ABC. Okay, so was that where Wizard of Oz cartoon was? Oddpod says, Freakazoid is one cartoon people don't talk about enough. Dude! Drowned out by Animaniacs and Tiny Toon Adventure. I could not agree more. I have both seasons on DVD for you fancy people. And I love it. And I reference it any chance I get. And we do have a video. We had a live stream back in the earlier days of the reboot. We had a live stream where let's see, who was on it? George Bueller from Fanatic Forum. Shout out to Fanatic Forum. George Bueller was on, and we talked about Freakazoid. And Mark from Legion of Comics also loves Freakazoid, if I'm not mistaken. John Ellis says they got the rights to use the likenesses from the MGM movie. Oh, ABC made it. Okay. Yeah, I have never seen this Wizard of Oz cartoon, but I'm very curious. It's on my list. Some other cartoons, like, actually, I meant Goof Troop. Goof Troop is like, nobody knows Goof Troop. The people who do know Goof Troop don't give a hoot about Goof Troop. They only care about the Goofy movie, which I do understand. I do. But, come on, let's show a little love for the prequel. This came before the movie. And it is rad to the max, dude. Max. Because Max is Goofy's boy, Max. Yeah, if you guys can think of any more, let's see, underrated, lesser-known cartoons, go ahead and drop them in the comments. Otherwise, we were talking about stress-relieving cartoons. And I would like to invite some people to join me live sometime. If anyone would like to join me to have another homie hangout together, we do it once a month. It's probably going to be around the same time. Oddpod says there are a few YouTube channels that have 3 to 4 hour collections of random 80s and 90s cartoons, and I've discovered a lot of cartoons I never knew existed, including that Wizard of Oz one. Okay, awesome. What did you think of that one? Sherry Edgen says, nah, I didn't like Goof Troop. Aw, man. That was an awesome show. Oddpod says, I'll definitely join you live sometime when I'm not working. Dude, let me know. Hit me up sometime. We got to do a live. It'd be awesome. And I guess the general group opinion is that I definitely need to cover Muppet Babies. So I'm gonna say that Muppet Babies won over Doug and Rugrats. So that'll be next on the list. It's guys, I am booked through August for video topics, so just wait. It'll come probably October, November. You'll see some Muppet Babies, but stick with us. We got a lot. Another memory, John Ellis says, unlocked by your Chipmunks video, which, I'm sorry, John, I gotta break the continuity here and bring that up again. New Chipmunks video available now. It's called When the Nightmare is Real. That is a promo for our service that's ticking away at the bottom of the screen. www.giveacookie.net, which is Cartoon Connection, all about exposing the therapeutic benefits of 80s and 90s cartoons. Got tunes? We do. Over on Cartoon Connection, www.giveacookie.net. Sherry Edgen says, yes, Muppet Babies won. Yay! Yay! John Ellis says, the 1987 Mighty Mouse cartoon had a very wicked spoof of the Chipmunks. I recall it got them in trouble with the network. Really? Okay, John Ellis says it had the Dave character as an expletive. Oh my goodness. Okay. Like a real... Oh my goodness. Yeah, no. I guess I understand. I guess I understand that. They got a little risky with that one. Oddpod says, Little Shop of Horrors had a cartoon if you didn't know. Actually, I do. Yeah, there were quite a few movie tie-in cartoons that I have on my list that I have not yet covered. The ones that are higher up there, like RoboCop and... Oh, what was that last one that somebody mentioned here? Somebody mentioned another movie tie-in cartoon. I mean, Wizard of Oz is on there, but that's a much earlier tie-in. We had another comment. John Ellis says first year of Fox Kids was very weird. Dude, I know. That was the year with the Pittsburgh Pigs. It only had that one season. It was only out for that 1 year. And I gotta get my facts straight, so don't quote me on this yet, but I do believe that Pittsburgh Pigs was created by the daughter of the father of Saturday morning cartoons. I do believe so. So, well, that is it for tonight. We're not quite at an hour yet, but I don't have any more things lined up here. You know what? I'll mention this real quick. Oddpod said Gravedale High is quite an obscure one. Yes, it also has Rick Moranis in it. That's true. That was brought up to me by my friend Spencer Bollettieri. John Ellis says, Zazu, you enraged me. I do remember that. And Oddpod said, fun stream. Thanks, man. Thanks for being here. Thanks for making it funnerer. John Ellis says, Gravedale High had I barely could read that, man. Well, thanks for being here, guys. You guys made this stream funnerer, and we're definitely going to have another Hangout stream next month. This is different than the creator commentary streams. Creator commentary is where I do like a breakdown of the video that I made earlier in the week. This is just where we hang out, we chill, we talk cartoons. You guys get to add more to the content, and we have a good time together. We discuss sometimes the topics that I bring up in Cartoon Connection. John Ellis says, sorry, not type. It's fine, man. No problems. Not typing well happens to all of us. So yeah, if you guys want to check that out, When the Nightmare is Real, Alvin and the Chipmunks video, it's a freebie that's available today on our channel, Cartoon Commotion, which you should be on here if you're on the YouTube page, and it's not streaming to Facebook for whatever reason. So in and out, I reconnected it earlier, so I don't know why it's doing that. Sherry Edgen says, love your show, Cartoon Cade. Love seeing Jiggy. There's always very informative. It's always a very informative show. Can't wait to see your next episode and the future one of the Muppet Babies. Stay tuned. It is on its way. And thanks for hanging out with all of us, with Jiggy and me, and everyone here. Thanks for sharing your nostalgic memories with us. Thanks for rewinding to simpler, more carefree, stress relief times with us here on Cartoon Commotion. As usual, we are brought to you by the fine folks of the Cereal Box Network. If you want, you can check out their other shows, all the shows that they have to offer you. If you fancy catching any of those, the network is linked. We do hope you'll stick around with us and come back often as we rewind to the tunes of the 80s and 90s to flip the script on your nostalgia with deep values that you missed out on while you were too busy growing up. Hope to see you around next time. Keep it unreal, homies.